to Hadwen Park Congregational Church virtual worship. I just want to make, as your senior pastor, a couple of announcements, which are basically that there are no meetings in this building, and when the original email or notice went out, it said that we would resume worship on March 29th. Based on many of the efforts by our governor and our president, we aren't sure. In fact, we imagine that we won't be back on March 29th. I invite you to stay tuned. I invite you to remember those folk who don't have the internet. And anytime you get new news, you can just call them and help them out by letting them know what's going on. I am sure many of them are watching TV and making assumptions and or calling one of us. And I wish you well. I hope that you continue to stay safe and to love each other, and know that we'll get through this. And soon we'll have the right information on Realm again. This is a time where we're recommending to all of you that you learn how to use Realm, because you'll have a database at your fingertips, and perhaps just start at A and go through to Z and pray for people. And if the Spirit moves, perhaps call them, write them a letter, give them a phone call. Whatever it takes that we might continue to be together in spirit. That's my biggest announcement for today. As you know, Pastor Sarah and myself are attempting to call everybody. Don't wait for us to call you. If you need anything, we are here. The diaconate is also interested in delivering groceries or doing anything that they can do should you need that. So, we're together in the way that we can be and in the way that we should be at this time. So let us listen now to our welcoming statement.
Hear the welcoming statement of Hadwen Park Congregational Church, United Church of Christ, as we prepare to worship. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, we seek to find a place for you here at 6 Clover Street, Worcester, Massachusetts, United States of America, planet Earth. We hope you find peace and uplift in our worship. Welcome to all who have no church home, to all who need strength, to all who want to follow Christ, to those with doubts or those who do not believe at all. Welcome to new visitors and to old friends. Welcome to all who have been wounded or unwelcomed at any church, anywhere, anytime. Welcome to all immigrants and refugees in the name of Jesus Christ, who was born in the town of Bethlehem, where his earthly parents were strangers. Welcome to grandparents, to mothers, fathers, single and partnered people. Welcome to people of all colors, cultures, abilities, sexual orientations, and gender identities. To old and young, to believers and questioners. And welcome to questioning believers. Let us prepare to worship God.
My name is Al Green. I am the Ministry Director of the LGBT Assignment Task Force Ministry here at Hadwen Park Church. I'm also a deacon here at the church. I will now share with you the 23rd Psalm, the Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
To all who are listening, Hadwen Park Congregational Church members, or anyone that's joining us today, I would like to sing a song. I certainly wish the choir was here. You'd love to hear them, all 10, 15, 20 of them, but we're not gathering, so they aren't here. But I would like to sing this because the words have meant so much. This is a favorite song of Lori Wentworth, who transitioned into a beautiful future, but was scared as she walked the journey. And I learned this song at the feet of my mom, who at 92 passed on, and she does know about tomorrow now, but she taught me to sing this. In these days of uncertainty, in these days when we really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, this song is one I've been singing as I go around the house. I hope as you hear the words and come to love it, you will sing it too. From day to day, to tell you a story. It's from the Gospel of John, chapter 9. It's a story we're all so familiar with, but listen to it as a story and see if you hear anything new. As Jesus walked along, he saw a man blind from birth. Jesus' disciples asked him, "Rabbi," remember, they're calling Jesus Rabbi, a priest, a clerical person in his time. "Rabbi, who sinned, that this man or his parents have sinned? They must have, because he was born blind." Jesus answered, "No, neither sinned. Here's the deal, he was just born blind. But yet, God's plan will be revealed in him." Jesus said, "We must work the works of God who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work." And Jesus said, "As long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world." And then Jesus knelt down in the dust, spit on the ground, and made mud with his saliva and the dust. Kids, it's in the Bible, just telling you it really is. He spread the mud on the man's eyes and said, "Go over there to the pool. You know that pool over there. And wash." I'm telling you, I would get mud out of my eye. It was there. And so the blind man did. When he came out of the water, he could see. Everybody at the pool, as you can imagine, started talking. "Hey, look at that guy walking out of the pool. Isn't he the one that used to sit and beg? Look right there. Look, his eyes are wide open. How can that be?" And the others answered, "Nah, that guy just looks like him." That guy was blind as a bat, so he couldn't be walking around. The previously blind man heard them and said, No, it's me. I am that man. This man named Jesus made mud, put it in my eyes, and sent me to a pool to wash. I did, and now I can see." "Wow," said the crowd. "This really does need to go to the church council or to our religious leaders. What's going on? I'll bet he's a faker." They took him to the church leaders and they started quizzing him. He told them the same thing. "Jesus put mud in my eye. I went to the pool, washed the mud out, and lo and behold, I can see." Of course, the judgmental religious leaders, we still have so many of them, started condemning Jesus because he was working on the Sabbath. And he shouldn't have healed, they said, on the Sabbath, because that's the law. Others said, "Really? Do you care? This guy can see now." So the Pharisees turned to the previously blind guy and said, "Who did this for you?" And he said, "A prophet, maybe?" The Pharisees still couldn't believe it. They thought he was faking. So they walked the blind man home to his parents and said, "Is this your son?" And the parents said, "Yeah, that's our boy. Yeah, he was blind. Now he can see. We don't know anything about it. We can't help you with why and how. We have no idea." They were kind of pushing it off because they'd heard a rumor that if anyone followed Jesus, instead of the religious leaders, another fight, they'd be thrown out of the temple, thrown out of church. Can you imagine that? So they took the focus off of themselves and said, "Ask him. He's a grown man. He's a big boy. He is of age." So the Pharisees turned to him again and started to ask him more questions. He got frustrated and finally said, "Here's what I know, that once I was blind, and now I can see." The religious leaders began to yell, and they did. They threw him out of the temple. Jesus heard about it. The news back then traveled faster than the internet, and they went to find the man who was born blind. Jesus followed this man who was born blind and came to help him out. And he stood in front of this man and said, "Do you know who I am?" Well, don't forget, the last time he saw Jesus, he didn't see Jesus. And Jesus repeated, I believe, I came into the world that everybody might see. The man probably said, thank you. Once I was blind, but now I can see. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There's two ways to see. One is with our eyes, the other is with our spirit. Jesus wanted this young man to see so that he could be restored to full life. Jesus wanted all those who couldn't see spiritually, who couldn't believe, who had to ask so many questions, also to be healed and restored to full life. I believe that our eyes are being opened during this blind time of our world. There is something about the magnitude of the coronavirus that actually is bringing us together in spirit. Our eyes are open to what we did not see before this muddy time. I once heard it said that in a cancer ward, at the end of a chemo drip, there are no Democrats or Republicans, no immigrant or citizen, no black or white, no gay, no straight, no jocks, and no nerds. Just humanity facing their mortality and seeing each other with brand new, clear eyes. So once I sat in a cancer ward, and I watched this, which made me really understand what humanity is capable of. There was a young man in a business suit with a leather attaché case, chatting amicably with a young black woman whose infant was in a baby carrier at her feet. I do not believe in my life I've ever seen that. Even though we might intellectually believe in coming together, we might have progressive and maybe even political thoughts. But if you're on a park bench, something like that doesn't happen. If you're at a restaurant, something like that doesn't happen. What if we are finally able to see, to open our eyes and see the love that humanity can offer in the name of God through Jesus Christ? We are there. At the end of the coronavirus drip, seeing with eyes wide open, if we will look, Jesus is inviting us to see that we are here on a planet that has become an incubator for viruses. We have to see differently. Jesus is inviting us to open our eyes and face our mortality, that we might live each day like we were dying. Therefore, with all the gusto we can. There's a great song that I want you all to look up. I think it's I Can Live Like I Was Dying, and I don't know the words, but go to YouTube or Google. It's a really great statement and song to celebrate life every day we have it, every breath we have it. We are finally spiritually aware enough to know we don't know the future. We can't figure out the calendar at church. Never mind the future of humanity. Have you ever thought, what were you doing 2 months ago? Did you ever in your life dream that we would be facing what we are? But during our virtual confirmation class last Sunday, we all talked about this as an opportunity to socially distance and quarantine ourselves, like we are called to do for the season of Lent. In fact, this was interesting. These young folk, 13 and 14 years old, agreed as we closed, they would all begin to meditate at least 20 minutes a day. Most of them said, I don't know how to sit still. All of them said, what will I do with my phone? I can't do this meditating. It messes with my mind. Now, my granddaughter Roxy gave them good instructions as her and her family have been meditating daily. She said, sit still. Let the thoughts come. Don't chase them away. They will spend the time, and you can go back and find your center. Of course, the kids said, we'll just go to Google and find tools for meditation. It's a start. Have your eyes been opened in the past few weeks? If so, how? Can you share those thoughts with us on Facebook, email, or text? Tell your stories. We want to hear them. We want to stay connected. We need to hear from you ideas to cope, things to do, what has helped you, and how you have found hope. Maybe our illness, our blindness, our addiction to electronics, the wealth in our community, maybe the lack of neighborliness and simple kindness is making us sick, making us blind. This man was cured, which is different than healed. He could open his eyes and he could see, but he was also healed because he was able to see, healed to humbly bow before Jesus and believe. This is a difficult time, but we can see differently. Nothing like this has come to our sophisticated, powerful country. I remember when I watched what was happening in China, I thought that'll never be here. We can figure this out. We got the best doctors in the world. We have a new way, a new normal, and we will get through it, holding on to each other in the way that we can and trusting God to provide. Betty Jane called me last week and said, Pastor Judy, I have received so many phone calls just to see how I am. I did not know for me. You do not know how much that means to me. Joan Ann St. Pierre tells a story of her kids. They couldn't go to play dates. They kept telling her, I have to go, I have to be with my friends. And a box was delivered to their house. A big cardboard box. She took the contents out, and Brenna and Tristan sat all day, tearing apart that old box and making something new. She was so blessed to hear them laughing and spending quiet times, brother and sister, building something new. Pastor Sarah and myself are wishing to be your pastors, your virtual pastors, in any way that we can. We're at the end of a phone call. We can read the Psalms together if you need to. Our deacons want to know if you need anything. Our eyes are being opened to creative ways to stay together as the community of faith. This morning, Sarah, Al, Brett, and myself met and tried, how can we figure out how to be connected to you? Please talk to us about what we can do for you. And give us honest feedback on this virtual church experience. Trust me on this, there's more to come. And it may be like church you've never seen before. And that's good. Meditate, pray. Take the lead of our confirmands and find the quiet center that is within. We will get through this because God never fails. Jesus promised that he would never leave us or forsake us until the end of time. Brothers and sisters in Christ, here's mud in your eye. Now wash. Wash a lot and wash often. But open your eyes and believe. May it be so for you and for me. Amen. Open my eyes that I might see glimpses of truth you have for me. Place called Pandemic, written by Len Bunker. What if you thought of it as the Jews considered the Sabbath, the most sacred of all times? Cease from travel. Cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it already is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you would commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny that now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has become clear. But do not reach out with your hands. Reach out with your heart. Reach out with your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot now touch. Promise this world you love, for better or for worse, in sickness and health, as long as we all shall live.